Hey, what's up, everybody? Thank you for listening to From the Gate podcast, where we bring you game, good times, and genuine conversation. I'm Lisi.
Ses.
Let's get it. Hey, what's up, y'all? So today we are doing another episode. I know it's been a week, but it's okay. All good things take time. And today we got a good thing back on the episode. We got Ses back on the mic. I know y'all missed him very, very much. Welcome back, sir.
Thank you.
And today, Ses and I are going to be talking about behind the mask. I mean, we all wear masks. Maybe not everybody. I know I wear masks sometimes in my life. Maybe more times than others. Behind the mask, we're talking about everybody wears masks for Halloween. We always want to dress up as somebody else and either put our best foot forward or put our scariest foot forward. And so we're talking about some people that are pretty scary that we constantly watch and kind of looking at what is it that draws us into these characters? Why is it that every year in October we're drawn to fear and exalt fear? But yeah, let's get into it. So the whole psychology behind these horror movies or these people that we're scared of that literally live their lives behind a mask. And so when it comes to the psychology of horror villains, why is it that horror villains are so captivating, do you think?
Honestly, I don't know. I mean, anyone specific like Batman or
Batman's not a horror villain.
who?
Like Chucky, Pennywise,
Well, I mean, you have to think about. I mean, a little doll,
Annabelle.
a little doll like that. that I was definitely terrified of that damn movie when it first came out back in I think the 90s. Very first, for years I was terrified.
And
sure.
The Bride of Chucky.
Well, I didn't see that. Just the first one is because you can't go back because then you're already expecting what to see.
Right.
You know, but that one, It and Freddy Krueger. That laugh, boy.
Got everybody scared to go to sleep.
Yeah.
Why do you think that people constantly want to go back to that every Halloween?
I think because they know that's what like really scares people. And who doesn't like candy?
Not if Michael Myers is giving me candy.
Michael Myers, I wasn't. His movies are a little too. I don't know. I mean, that's more.
I feel like it's overplayed now at this point, but.
What was the last one that came out? I think it was like 2019, 18, I think.
I think so. I can't remember, but I know it was like. I didn't watch any of them. As a kid, I was never allowed to watch scary movies, so I just never did. And then there was only like certain scary ones that I did watch, like Insidious. Oh my gosh, my brothers are wonderful.
Which one is that one?
Insidious is the one where they like astral project into.
Oh.
And he has to go and like save his son because his son like astral projects, and then he gets caught by a demon and.
Is it Exorcist?
Oh, Exorcist is scary too.
That one was pretty scary, but nothing like the Freddy Kruegers and the Jasons.
No. And those are like probably the
Chucky,
two biggest scary ones.
It was like
Freddy.
later, like probably like late 90s.
Yeah. But I feel like the new It that came out, I watched that one. I watched the new It that came out, and I was still like.
Yeah, I mean, after that, then you can't do a part 2 and a part 3. Like, you have to, I remember Jason had a part 2, part 3. I think he had like all the way to like 5. I'm not sure exactly, but yeah.
The Friday the 13th series. What is it about these characters that you think makes them so unforgettable? Like, people are constantly wanting to dress like them.
I think because it's so common, especially I think in like the Tongan culture, it's very common to like, I don't know how you would translate it to English, but it's called Puka de Volo. It's called Hold by the Devil in English, I think. Uke means to hold or to
To
catch
keep
or keep. Devolo means devil.
devil.
So, and it's real. So I think just from hearing stories from like my grandmother and my aunts and them. So, and then when you go do the movies and stuff like that, then you're like
Like it just
ah.
becomes real
They
because
used
then
to be
you're
like
thinking of.
Colosalinena. Hey, I used to remind like, hey, Colosalinena. But they used to try, but I was like, I was the only one that was allowed to go to my grandmother's brother's house that stayed up the street.
Why?
I honestly don't know why, to be honest. And plus, their house was like red and white, like bloodshot red.
Got the Tonga colors on the
Oh,
house.
I could go on because like they used to tell hella stories about like the
Why
experience.
was the house haunted?
No, I don't think it was haunted. I just think when she passed, everybody was like, "She coming for y'all." So I was like, "Hey, she liked me." So
So
I
that's
don't really
sucks
have,
for everybody else
but they did really good at like trying to like
to scare
put
you.
the fear in me, and I used to be like, "Well, nice try." I was more scared of the movies, so
Speaking of fear, now that you brought that up, I wanted. I think that is probably because if you think about it, during like the scary season, as they like to call it, during October or Spooktober, whatever word that they use for it, it's literally a scary season. Everybody's like into all of the things that make them scared. But why do you think that they gravitate towards wanting to be scared or wanting to
I think it just
experience the
happens to
thrill of
do with
fear?
something that they've experienced before. When it comes up, it kind of takes you back to that memory of how it happened and blah blah blah. But now I'm too grown, bro. Like ain't nothing too gonna scare me, bro. I think fear is more of I would say like a higher direct term as opposed to hesitant. You know what I mean? It would be
Yeah.
for me. You know what I mean? So like hesitant or, but I mean I don't know. Each his own. I mean everyone's different. I don't. But yeah, to overcome those things, like it's because sometimes your mind plays tricks on you.
It really does, though.
And that's what you have to always think too. That it's like if your brain is functioning like that, you kind of have to embrace it and be like, "Dang, that's pretty cool." Instead of like looking at it as bad, because we always like identify things with like just it's bad. You know what I mean? And like, and it's okay. Like we were just talking about earlier. Like I think as parents, like me as a parent, you kind of have to like not put like a lot of stimulation on your children. I know a handful of people that like used to hide. You know what I mean? Because they were the religion that you belong to. There's like this huge demand, and this is my thing. Like it's either you want to be that, and then you know what I mean. So
Yeah.
like it's so hard for people to they believe it, but they don't want to live it. You know what I'm saying? So if you believe it and then you understand it, that you can't like go fuck around and then come back and then like I mean I don't know. I mean just whoever it may be.
No, I get it just because, like, I was that person for sure. I was that person for sure and it still carries into my adult life where I hide a lot,
Hella.
but it's because I'm trying to put up this what don't sasa. But it's cuz trying to put up this persona of perfection, I guess you could call it. Cuz
Well, I mean,
from
you could be like that, but be like that to yourself, not to yourself and everybody like you come.
sorry, Gamelalo, let me finish my
Oh,
sentences.
go before I finish it for you.
But Yeah, for a long time, from when I was a kid growing up, I always had felt that I had to show people this persona of perfection. Like I had to
That's terrible, dude.
prove that I was the best kid or the nicest kid or whatever it is. And a lot of times I would hide a lot of things that I would do, like listening to secular music or watching movies that I knew I wasn't supposed to watch when I was a kid, or sneaking out of the house all the time and not saying anything. You know what I mean? I mean, I'm sure we all have sneaker out of the house or
Well,
houser.
I've never had to do that.
Well,
Like,
I did.
I didn't have to. Like, my parents never did that to us.
And
Never.
then even like as a pastor's kid, especially having to put up a Christian front and act like not holier than thou, but just I had to act like the good kid all the time. And I always had to be the role model for all the other kids in the church. You know what I mean?
I
And
mean, you
so
could do that without being like. See, this is the thing where, like, religion, people try to put up this
facade or this mask, they put this mask on.
mask facade or this role of their calling. God is not gonna judge like the itty bitty things, but they have like this thing to where like they feel like they have to live through their children,
Mm,
you know, and I think that's why like most parents fuck up at, because then like your children become fucked up and then they lie, they cheat, all this other shit, and then they go do this, they go do that, instead of just giving them like a small leg room of what they can do. It'd be different if you're in the island, right? There's guidelines that you could do.
right.
Sunday, everything is closed, this, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
But you're in America, here in the motherfucking United States, you, your friends, everyone's not going to live like by those guidelines.
No, it's a completely
So
different set of
what do
rules.
you do? If you can't go against the grain, you always have to go with the grain. So, hey, Sunday, you can't do this, but listen to this type of music. You could watch this type of that.
Right.
If not, you know what I mean? To make them become to
Oh,
where like they can use their brain to the capacity of, you know, in a positive way. Because that's how I've seen it growing up. Like a lot of people like just hide, 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 hide. And I'm like, God damn. And then like several years now that we're adults, like your mama was like my teacher now. She in the club? Like that kind of stuff. I'm just like, it does never make sense to me. It never made sense to me at all. We come from like this strict culture, and then like, you know, you have to have like something a little better to where like you cannot limit your children from what they're doing, because like it's a
or even put
different.
on your kids like the pressure of, oh, everything that you do represents the family.
Yeah, I mean that is fucking stupid, dude. Excuse my language. I just say it like that because that's how I feel about that. It's stupid. We live in a day of time where like people lie, and like it's
And they try to
cool.
cover up. They're trying to protect
Ex-
themselves. They try to protect their
Whatever it
parents,
may
try to
be,
protect their families.
whatever it may be, just be yourself at all times. I don't know. I mean, you live in a day of time like 2024. Are we still really acting like, even when I was 16, 17, I was never like that. I always had to be mature. Like, I mean, I don't know. Because of my parents. It's my parents, because all of that shit's taught at home. You know, like with me and my brother and my sister, like, oh, hey, when it was time to do anything, I'm like, nigga, because like, you know, some of the clubs in LA would be cracking on a Sunday, some of the reggae stuff. And I'm like,
Right.
nigga, it's 11 o'clock. Like, who the hell sneaks out of. But we did it and we waited. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like, it never made, I never understood it. Like, why? You know what I mean? And I think when you do that with your children, then you're passing things on to them, and then and this is why things never change. You know, the culture can change if the people can change. These religions are sticking a gun to your head. No. I mean, like, you have to really understand that, like, God is God. He is not going to judge you or your parents. You should not make your children be afraid of God, is what I'm trying to say.
Absolutely. Like you need to be respectful of God. but not
Yes,
be
but I'm
afraid of
saying
them.
it should be something that you want to do all the time, Monday through Sunday, not just Sunday. Go and look like this and no.
Is that your busy for the? Is that your busy, sir?
No, I'm just saying it costs literally like 0 cents to be yourself. Like, why is that so hard for most people?
Well, because
You
they're so
got
used to
some.
wearing a mask
You
for
you, you
most of
got
their
some,
lives,
right?
which is kind of like what we're talking
You
about
you
here.
you have some that like love to gaslight. That's because that's the new term. Gaslight. You go and hang out, and sometimes they slip up, and they'll say, "Oh, this," and I'm like, dang, like how, like why? Why do you still feel like you have to be such a like little child? You're almost 40, if not older. Damn. I don't know, and that kind of shit just bothers me. That shit like I would like to just move to the side and just rather not deal with it because when you do, then it becomes they put that shit on you, and now you stuck with this shit, and then you almost get manipulated to be like that. Fuck that. Like, goddamn, like, don't bring that shit over here. Like, take that shit back or whoever raised your punk ass to be so fucking stubborn. I mean, it's very, I don't know, like, it's just crazy to me to how, like, the culture sometimes is, like, so really fucked up to where, like, they think, like, Jesus Christ and God is, like, should be really fun to read because of the history and what they've done and the possibilities that they could do for a person.
Oh, absolutely. The Bible is so full of all those stories.
Like like it shouldn't just be only on Sunday. Like, you should not just feel like, oh, it's Sunday, so
I'm gonna
or
read my Bible
or
now.
if it's Monday or Tuesday, like you're gonna be ashamed to read a verse around people. Like, I don't know. It's just that kind of shit bothers me.
I visited beach because, like what I was saying earlier, people are so used to wearing masks
And I don't think there's nothing wrong
and
with that, though. I mean, really?
just to protect themselves and to protect whatever it is that they're trying to protect. I know for me, it's because my whole entire life, I've always had to play a certain person or play a certain role and try to be the good girl all the time, the pastor's
But there's
daughter,
other
the
ways to always like teach those kind of things. Like you don't limit them because like later on, like we all become rebellious in so many different ways. Like one wants to be a hoe, and then you know what I mean, and then be a hoe underneath closed door or behind closed doors or whatever the hell it may be. Then you cheat, then you lie, and then it trickles down to where like, God damn, who are you really?
it's like I thought
And
you were
like,
one person and now it's a different
you know
person.
what I mean? Like how like you have to look like yourself in the mirror, like soul search or read some motherfucking book. I don't know, but yeah, shit. Like, it's grateful for my parents that like never taught us that. Like, I mean, we weren't allowed to watch stuff, but like other fun things to do besides that. And plus, like and then it never becomes the problem. It never becomes to where like, oh, you're being disobedient to your parents when you have to hide or like, there's certain things to where like we were always able to like speak freely on how we feel at the dinner table, um, even just chilling, whatever it may be. You have to be able to let your children not be afraid of you. Because then when you do that, then you like that. Then when you have kids, then you're like that to your kids.
Right.
And then everybody's like, oh, what happened to that family over there? Oh, my goodness, man,
Like what's going
I
on?
thought they're going to go to the temple and they're go to the museum. And it's bad, like, and it's terrible because then everyone judges you
For not going to the
You
temple
know,
or not going on a
well,
mission
I'm
or
not just using that. I'm just saying in all religion. You know what I mean? I mean, I think going on a mission is great.
I've
You
gone on so
know,
many mission trips.
I think that's
Mission trips was
one
what helped
thing,
me open my eyes to the world. You
but
know
you
what I
have to
mean?
live it. Like if you gonna do it, you gotta be 1,000%. Like live it. You know, and you go back and like, I mean, shit, ain't nobody gonna knock you because you did this. You came back, had a drink or two, or whatever it may be. That's just between you and the man upstairs.
Mm.
But still, we would never have. I would never lie to my parents about anything. I was very open with my parents, always.
That's awesome that you had that relationship with your parents. And I think that's what it boils down to is relationship. Because if your parents are actually building a relationship with their kids instead of it just being,
Well, like, think about it. It's like my parents weren't really educated to where all they knew how to do was work, right? But coming from the islands to here, it was like, oh, there is so much more opportunity. Then you get flustered with like all this stuff and like opportunity here, there, here. Firsthand, like, oh shit, hey, my kids, like, hey, look, you could do this, you could go do that. Like, when my mother started at the airlines, like, all the way back, like, all the way back, my mother used to, like, give us the things to where, like, hey, look, she would tell, like, my mom would take me to work with her. You see
yeah,
all those wheelchairs that people take? You go collect those and you can put those back. And that was a hustle for me that, like, my mom used to bring me to work to do. Well, I would go and collect all over because my mom used to work at the international terminal at the time, and because you go in there because people would
tip you.
tip you, and I used to go and grab people. This is way before they even became part of the airline's job, you know. And that, that was my hustle. That was just a partial of the hustle because my parents just saw so many things like Saturdays is Saturdays on the weekends. My dad would take me and my brother and like go take out all his business cards from door to door because everyone's home on the weekend. I mean, I don't know, just those kind of things when you influence your children to like more things positively and interact with your children more. I feel like that's when the children become like more abundant to the parents.
Mm,
Then they're like then they respect the parents. They don't want to like let down the parent. Like then it becomes the role of like I want to please my mother and father.
right.
And then you're like, I don't want to do nothing bad. You get what I mean?
Yes.
So I don't know. I mean, not to say that we were perfect, but we were far from that. But like they gave us so much opportunity to like to be yourself and use your own brain and not like be your parents and like have to live through the lenses of their parents. That's terrible. Terrible.
But that's how I feel like a lot of Polynesian kids are raised in a lot of ways. But, you
Well,
know,
it's terrible. This is why like I think like there's so much other things with the kids. Like, some are like undercover this, that, and the third, and like why they become suicidal, and then like it becomes like the anxiety because you're setting your kids up for failure.
yeah, because you're having them live up to an expectation that,
And like, why? You should make them use their own brain, but still guide them to be like this, and this. This is what can happen. Like, I don't know. I mean, like,
well, I guess that also plays into fears, like certain fears that people have. Like parents just are afraid for their kids to fail, and so they want to make sure that they
that's definitely
set
not a way to go, though.
guidelines. They want to set guidelines in order to help them
Well, my parents were never like that. They was like, but this is the U.S. and we just gonna ignite even more, like the teachers that they already have, but we gonna splurge a little bit, and that's it. I mean that's all.
But I think that's why some people find such fascination with, like we were talking about, just these horror villains and the masks that they wear and the things that they represent for people. And like for example, I wrote down a bunch of things that like some of the biggest villains that we, I don't want to say idolize, but that we highlight every single Halloween season. So like Michael Myers, where he's just this picture of pure evil, where he just does things because that's what he wants to do. And there's like no method to his madness. And
But you have to always remember. I mean, yeah, but it's a movie.
but they
Okay.
represent something. They all represent something. They all represent like fears that we as humans really do feel.
Well, it's a movie. It's they're acting. Act.
I understand that, but it's still like people are drawn to those characters and they're drawn to those movies because the fears that are represented in those movies are real.
Sure.
Whether it's the fear of being attacked in your vulnerable states, like when Freddy Krueger like controls people's dreams or and whatnot, or whether it's
Well, I mean, if it gets to that point, I mean, then maybe you should not be watching the horror movies. Period. Like, damn, shit, it's a movie. It's called acting. I mean, it's a movie.
but those fears are real. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about the acting in the movie. I'm talking about the fears that are experienced in those movies are real. Like the fear of
Sure,
having your personal space being invaded, like in Scream, or
sure.
do you know what I mean? And
Not
so
really, but I mean, sure. Like, if your child, let me just put it like this. Like, let me just speak for myself. Like, in my youth, like, I was hella scared of movies. Only because, like, all of my cousins were a lot older than me, or were a lot more hip or savvy than I was.
hmm.
So for me, yeah, I would watch stuff and I would hella jump or ah ah, but you know what I mean. And then like that's what your older cousins do. Like they scare the shit out of you if they know that's what bothers you until you can build some tolerance and be like, nah, motherfucker, it's a movie.
That's my brothers did to me.
So I mean, it's simple, simple, simple things to just deal with. It's black or white, just like it's simple. Like having two kids, most people are like, well, if the two parents are in sync and know what to do, then it's not complicated. It's simple. I could raise two more, two like because then like you have a memory of know what works and know what not. Like it's okay. It's no, it's not easy, of course, but like it's simple when especially if you're not outnumbered.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So yeah, each his own. Don't force is what I'm trying to say. Don't force. And I mean that's the truest form I think I could relate it. Just don't force anything in life. Don't force. Um, I've been in that period of time to where like you do force, and then if that doesn't work, then don't do it again. I mean, if it doesn't work 1, 2, 3 times, then like nigga, this nigga right here, fear. I mean, it's something that we all experience at one point of our life, or it's something that always comes up, it comes up, I guess. And I think most of the time where I should, let me just say me, speak for myself, was that if I know that I've experienced something over and over again, and if that's what's causing you to identify with something that's not like making you feel good, then like just evaluate and try the opposite, whatever that may be. Is how I always like approach it, because fear is a real thing, but because like we come complacent in life and we become comfortable, and then just gotta identify it and like, hey, this is not for me, and then cool, then the devil leaves. And then if you do that, then I think then that's when it becomes more familiar whenever it comes around, and you know how to identify with it. And you have the formula, or you have, certain things that you do to approach those kind of fears, whatever that may be. Oh, yeah.
Tell us your thoughts. Let us know what you think. Ses, you got anything else to add?
No, that's it. Let us know, man. We're on all social media platforms: Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon, Halaman, Jelligan, and Falavan. We're on all the guns.
Follow us on our socials. You can find us at From the Gate on all social media platforms. Check out our website, fromthegate.com. I'm your host, Lisi.
Success.
Deuces.
Gia.